Maine barrel-aged maple syrup. So of all the things that I offer here at HSN, if there was a top 3 list, this would be in it.
Good.
I love this maple syrup so much. It is one ingredient, and that is the sap that runs from sugar maple trees in Vermont. Cary and Maine started this whole thing. It's up in St. Johnsbury, Vermont. And what they do that nobody else does, that I'm aware of, they take their maple syrup. And by the way, 40 gallons of sap makes 1 gallon of maple syrup. Here's where they get the trees from, or here's where the trees are. It only comes from one tree, the sugar maple tree in Vermont. And what they do nowadays is they tap them, and they use gravity to run the sap down to a boiler, or a tank first, and then it is boiled, and boiled, and boiled, and boiled until it becomes a sap or a syrup. 40 gallons makes 1 gallon. And then what they do, they pour that finished product into rum barrels, and it gives it the most incredible flavor you will ever taste on your pancakes, on your chicken, whatever you want to put it on. I'd put it on a shoe, and I would eat this stuff. Stephanie Roberts is here to tell us all about it.
Yes, I am. Cheers. And this is something that we do
Gold.
because it's so smooth and so wonderful on your tongue. I totally encourage you to have just a little sip of straight syrup. And you're probably thinking, oh, that would be so ridiculously sweet. But it's not. It is just the right amount of sweetness and the right amount of maple. And as Guy mentioned, this maple syrup is aged in charred Hungarian oak barrels that have previously held rum, so that there's just a little bit of extra depth of flavor, a little bit of a smokiness, if you will. It's not just a sweet maple syrup, it's a little bit more of a complex maple syrup. But what we're most proud of is the fact that this is a single-sourced maple syrup. What does that mean? Only sap from trees that have been in this family for more than 100 years are tapped and used for this maple syrup. Just because it says maple syrup doesn't always guarantee it's all from the same
100%.
farm or sugar bush, if you will.
Right.
We are guaranteeing that. So you know the quality is there, you know the history is there. These trees are rich and full of generations, literally, of sap. So it is a true pleasure and a true treat to get to use it. Now, you get a lot of it, right? That's the other thing I want to show you.
These
You're getting
bottles are
huge bottles, and they will last a very long time. So what will you do with all this maple syrup? Here's where the fun begins, all right? So we're having a game day theme today. So I took things out a different level, a little bit of a different nod. May I offer you a cocktail to start your game day?
Yeah.
Hold that right there. It's not quite done yet.
All right.
We're going to top it with some bubbles. This is maple bourbon ginger.
Okay.
And everything's better with a little bubble. So then we're gonna top it with a little sparkling water, and that's how we'll start our game day celebration, so you could offer your guests a little something special. And when you go to a bar and you have a craft cocktail, do you know what makes it better than just an ordinary cocktail? The ingredients, the craft
the quality ingredients.
Exactly. So we're using the very best maple syrup, which then translates to a very, very good cocktail because you're getting the richness of it. So that's a fun way to start. Now, when we're eating and watching the big game, we all like our fried chicken and waffles, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's take it up a level.
By the way, if you want to get it shipped right now, I got 250. That's it. And everybody gets 2 bottles. And by the way, again, heavy-duty bottles,
Glass.
not plastic bottles, which you should never buy anything really in plastic bottles if you can get away with it. Well, David is very good about that. He goes, everything is, there's no shortcuts.
No, these are
all the
heavy
best.
glass, beautiful tough lids. They are recyclable. They're wonderful.
Remember, they can't call it maple syrup unless it's real maple syrup. If you see something called pancake syrup, that's not maple. All right? Don't buy that garbage from the store. Buy it where you know the source. And I know this place. I've been up there. I've driven through there. You know, David, who also does our waters, our tea, our wakaya tea. I mean, he knows ingredients. And I make, for Thanksgiving, I use this in my sweet potato pie. It's ridiculous.
Because the depth of flavor is so thick that you can really just use a tiny little bit. So a lot of people put hot honey on their chicken and waffles. We have created hot maple. So you're still getting the maple, but you're getting just a little bit of a kick as well.
Yeah.
So I love this. When it comes to sweeteners, a lot of people don't realize that there's something called the glycemic index. It kind of rates how sweet things are. As a natural sweetener goes, maple syrup rates very low, which means it actually contains less natural sugar than many other sweeteners, less than agave, less than honey. So when you do use it, you're making a good sweetener choice. It's better for you than dumping piles of sugar in.
And because it's a single source ingredient product, you don't have to refrigerate it.
Right.
It never needs to be cold. All right, it's like honey or even coconut oil. You know, things that are a single ingredient, right? And the flavor, it's unlike anything you've ever tried. And let me tell you, I've tried lots of maple syrup. I've had a lot of maple syrup in Vermont.
Right.
I drive by a sugar house every time I go up to my brother's house. It's right there on the side of the road, and there's always steam coming out of the top of it. And let me tell you, it is not a cheap thing to make, right? They got to run those lines. The energy they use to have to cook down the sap is why when you see this, you look at it and you go, well, wait, that's like $20-something a bottle. Guys, it is worth it. When you think about the amount of product, 40 gallons to make one gallon. So you're using about 20 gallons of sap, maybe 15 to 20 gallons to make each bottle of this.
It's what makes it special. The fact that these trees are the same trees that have been used for more than 100 years, that makes it special. That makes the flavor special. And then you can create some really cool and special things. Look at this dip. Guy, you're gonna love this. So we took a little cream cheese, we took the maple syrup, we whipped it together, and then put pecans on the outside. If you just take a little bit of the dip.
Pretzel?
Try it with the pretzel, yep. You like the salty sweet. It was a little hard to scoop, so don't let it break off in there. But how can I describe that? And guess what it's held together with? See how it's light and fluffy? That's vanilla pudding. Not the actual pudding, just the powder. Isn't that crazy good? You will want to try this recipe. The maple syrup, the cream cheese, the powder from the vanilla pudding gives it kind of a light moussey texture.
Yeah, fluffy.
Right, very nice and fluffy. And then I got to tell you, those pecans on top are absolutely crazy. Well, so you can work sweet into your dips.
I would put it like you did on the chicken bites.
I love that.
I mean, that is so good. If you like chicken and waffles.
Yep.
This is, and remember, the difference is the rum aging, the rum barrel aging.
Yep.
When you smell it, you open it up. It reminds me when I was a kid, we used to have those butter rum lifesavers. Remember years ago?
Yeah.
And we always wanted to save those. They were so good. It reminds me of that. It has just at the back of your palate, you can sense the rum flavor, but it's not rummy.
It's not.
It's just beautiful.
It's a depth, because sometimes syrup is just sweet on the front and you never get anything else.
I got 180 left. I just went to, it was 250 just a minute ago. So we have 180 left. And literally, these bottles are huge.
They are. This is going to last you a very, very long time.
I ordered this before Christmas. I haven't even got to my second bottle yet.
Right. Oh, no.
I mean, I ate a lot. We had a lot of breakfast and stuff
and
like
that. And I've been putting it in coffee lately, too. That maple coffee is a winter hug.
Best thing you've ever done? I'm telling you, you know this already. Get a sweet potato. Cook it normally like you do. Rub it in olive oil, salt and pepper, put it in the oven, open it up, butter, and about a tablespoon of this.
You don't need
the
much.
best sweet potatoes you will ever have in your life.
I could not agree more. So we're talking game day too. Then there's always that morning after the game day when maybe everybody's still hanging around or maybe they're not feeling so hot. Well, that's when you make a stack of pancakes. And then you wow everybody. Again, it seems so simple, but a simple stack of pancakes. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's so much better with high quality. You can see the color. The color is beautiful. An apple cake. Want to drizzle that on top for me? Turn it into like a pull-apart bread. Again, something, even if you didn't make the apple cake, if you take things and just add one special ingredient, it makes such an incredible difference. So drizzle it. Drizzle it on pies, drizzle it on breads. I highly recommend it in cocktails. I love it in coffee.
Yeah.
Again, just a little dollop. I'm using a natural sweetener.
And do this. Stephanie brought this up. Try it straight. Like put a little bit in a teaspoon and take a taste, or be fancy and put it in a shot glass. You will be shocked how good it is.
Yes, and if you would think I would never want to drink syrup, you do.
It's actually good for my throat.
Yeah, it probably helps you right now a lot.
All right. Great job, Stephanie. Thank you.